When we were first approached by the school with this RFP, and I had a chance to see who was on the board, and I said, wow, those are a lot of familiar names. I knew nothing about St. Martin, but I certainly knew many of the folks who are on the board, and I know them for important things they've done in the community, again, and professionally, but also in this, in this more philanthropic capacities. I've been a board member on another independent school in New Haven for 25 years. And I know, I think I have a pretty good handle on the incredible challenges there are in running a small school that has a very particular mission that they're trying to accomplish. And I know how difficult that is. And so at any moment when we were working on the master planning or the design phase for the site work, it was hard for me not to look at it through the eyes of a board member, through the eyes of the person sitting on the other side of the table, and realize, just what it takes to make something like this happen.
I was born and raised in New Haven. Parents grew up within 2 to 2.5 blocks away from Columbus Avenue School. My parents essentially grew up in the neighborhood. I first became involved with St. Martin de Porres Academy. It was more than 15 years ago, probably closer to 20 years ago. Paul Morris actually got me involved. The interesting thing about the business that we're in is that we're creating actually the environment from which either people live or learn or conduct their livelihoods. Great work that St. Martin de Porres Academy does, really what makes a difference, and their success speaks for itself. This year's with NASA, that was really cool. I wish I could have gone with them. Who would have ever thought something like that would have even been able to be pulled off by such a small school? But once again, St. Martin de Porres is setting the example for others to follow. And size of school doesn't mean anything. Where the school is doesn't mean anything. It's really an example of the teachers and the staff and the supporters all pushing in the same direction.
I personally became aware of St. Martin probably about 7 or 8 years ago when I was approached by a couple board members. At the time when I first saw the property, the school hadn't even purchased it, and they had all these ideas going forward, and they were trying to logistically understand what were they going to do with the whole property. And boldly they decided, and the board decided, to go ahead with it. And then probably about 2 years later, I got a call asking my opinion also about the project that they were envisioning in terms of the demolition of buildings and the fields, and it was a big project, and they were in the process of raising the money. It was in its infancy, and I guess really I'd call it, at the time, it was a dream of the school, and really happy to have gotten involved and played a small part in helping to make that original dream a reality for the school.
Ray O'Neillia, wanted to help the school. So one day Ray came in my office and he said, John, I'd like you to look into this. And I got a copy of the meeting minutes, and it said that Ray and O&G offered to do the building demolition, and that Ray would be sending his demolition manager to contact the school. And so that's how I became involved.
And I got asked to come in, through O&G there from Ray O'Neillia, and because they needed some specialty equipment to do the job. And, of course, when he told me what it was, I says, yeah, of course we'll help out. Yeah. It's amazing what that school does without any funding. Amazing. I mean, that's the part that I think was so intriguing to me. I mean, the whole purpose of it is special in itself. But when they say they do it without any funding like that, it's amazing what they do for those kids.
I have to say, I mean, one of the things I love about the board, and again, I think a lot of it is the enthusiasm that Allison brings to everything, is how many hands-on board members there are. When you have people that have been used to being world leaders, I mean, for corporate leaders worldwide, I should say, and they're there doing shop or, putting up a panel wall or teaching some kids how to do something like it's amazing. It doesn't happen often. I went to the orientation, just a regular day, to go through the events of the morning and the prayer, and I go and I met Allison, and I just said, wow, I got to do this. It's not just the mission, it's the implementation. When you look at what's been done in the last 10 years, and then all these young men and women who are given this continuing education and not abandoned after 8th grade, right? That's so significant. And lastly, I just love working for not-for-profits in New Haven that are empowering New Haven youth. What I love about St. Martin de Porres is teaching history and teaching a sense of place is what gives people pride, these kids pride, where they want to say, hey, I'd like to come back here and bring up my kids, my family here.
What really makes this school and this project so special is it's community based, and it really is about the local people. This is really focused on that neighborhood and really trying to lift people out of poverty, provide opportunities to the kids. And what better what better use of time than to try to do that in a grassroots community, and then to see how receptive the kids are, to see them walking through the school and to meet a couple of parents. It's just a wonderful organization.
There was a real challenge facing us right from the get-go, in that you had a whole number of buildings that were in very poor condition that you really had no use for, but that have some historic value. And so, for an architect, that's especially a struggle. One has to think long and hard about that. Obviously, I reached a point where I was convinced that, we'd done a lot of due diligence here in looking for different ways to use the buildings, see if there was any interest out there. And when that didn't materialize, and they just were getting in worse and worse condition over time. So, at a certain point, you come to terms with what that means, and you turn your attention to what you can save, and which is obviously the church. Having the school at this corner, having the church at that corner, and open space in between feels good. If there was only 2 buildings that we could save on the property, those are the 2 that make the most sense to save.
The property was in disrepair and a lot of challenges. The property needed a lot of work.
When I first came in and David said, well, come here, I want you to look at this. And I'm going, uh-oh. I said, wow. I said, this is a real challenge. And I said, except that I have a very special set of skills to deal with this sort of thing.
While we do a lot of demolition work, this was a little bit of specialty demo with the location of the buildings next to the other structures, the age of the buildings. The one building on the corner looked like if you more or less touched it, it was going to fall down. And it required an expertise and specialized equipment, which we didn't have that kind of equipment. And from that point, we reached out to Manafort Brothers, who we have a good relationship with, and they offered to participate in the demolition. We were able to find another company that participated in taking the foundation demolition for no cost to the school, and Manafort and O&G worked together to get the structure down. They brought the building down. We got the foundation and the floor out.
Allison and the board, they've gone to the community and said, look, this is what we're thinking of doing. We need fields. We need this. And by the way, we're going to open it up to all of you guys. We'd like all of the neighborhood to come here and use these facilities.
There's no question that a nicer environment contributes to the overall learning experience.
When you looked at the school before the fields, it was wonderful what was going on in the classrooms, but kids need recreation. That's all part of the education of the whole student, to have green space, particularly turf field, where they can use it year round and be able to provide the outlet in an urban area for the kids. What what's better for them to be able to run around and organize activities, unorganized, and just gather together. When I saw the vision for the project and saw that we could play a little part in it and creating and really completing, I think, the educational experience for the kids.
Amazingly, it looks almost exactly the way the renderings that David did for it. When a child is surrounded by things that are not cared for, and that can be architecture, buildings, streets, whatever it is, then they don't really feel that people care for them, right? So I think these fields are so significant.
And over the years, I've been able to watch the progression of the work based on the funds that were available and the good decision making that was happening on behalf of St. Martin de Porres Academy. And it's been a pleasure to actually watch. And in fact, I drove by a couple of weeks ago. I was amazed at what I saw, and I actually got out of my car and walked around because it's such a transformation.
In terms of the property, just presenting a really proud face to the community, not to mention that you're providing a lot of outdoor space that there's certainly no question the community be welcome to use it. The particular group of people that end up working on this project are the ones that could see just what extraordinary value the school provides for its community.
Honestly, if you look at it, St. Martin de Porres right now is the jewel in the center of that neighborhood.
A pleasure to be a part of such an esteemed group of builders and designers, and I really appreciate being recognized as one of them.
We were probably an integral part of getting it done. It went good, and I was happy to do it.
And I was so pleased to join this team. And as you know, I mean, all these guys, they're all superstars. I felt very honored to even be in the presence of Ray as he helped us through this process. And his sense of humor is, bar none.
It truly was a team effort. I mean, we have a contractor, we've got a project manager in the form of Leland, we've got, the architectural and design team, we've got all of the board members that come to it with their construction background.
And working with the group that was here, everybody was, couldn't do enough.
The group that was involved in this project was really amazing. I'd known some of them throughout the community and heard of other ones over the years, and everyone just pitched in and played their role in it, and it's a perfect example of the sum of the parts really brings things together.
And it is a good thing. I mean, right now, giving kids opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. Someday one of the students here, you start thinking about it. I mean, who knows? One of these students here may be one of my doctors someday.
We don't have to go anywhere else. We can just play here on our field and our court. What I want to say to the people who helped build this, I want to say thank you. And the people who donated for us to get here and see this accomplishment from our school, I do want to say thank you. And you guys did a lot for us. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think about the field is amazing because you now have a good place to play soccer.
And I would just like to thank the construction workers for helping build the whole field.
My brothers and sister used to go here. They never had it, so I'm really thankful to have the field.
Thank you for this new field and the basketball court. I'm so grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love this field.
Thank you.